The new Venom trailer is out. We are going to break it down and talk about whether or not we are now sold on this film. This is the Nerdy News Rundown. Let's get you filled in. When I don't have my coffee, I feel like the Venom symbiote just... Yes, internet, the new Venom trailer has dropped and everyone's in the process of checking it out right now, so let's talk about it. First, let's start with the good because yes, there's plenty of bad to get into, but let's start on a positive note. So overall, the story is sounding more clear. We're getting more of Carlton Drake explaining his motivation for combining the symbiotes with the humans. Now, a lot of this is stuff that we heard coming out of San Diego Comic-Con, even though this trailer just became public. The panel had this footage seen and they talked a lot about this aspect. So we're getting a little bit more about the story, what Carlton Drake's motivations are, and where Eddie Brock is as a character at the start of the film. He's a journalist, he's always looking for stuff that the government is ignoring, maybe even into conspiracy theories and stuff like that, so that is interesting. On top of that, I think the effects just look absolutely brilliant. Some of the stuff we've been hearing about, we're finally being able to see, like when the symbiote comes off of him and actually has a head where it is talking to Eddie. I think that looked pretty cool. We also get a lot more of Riot and the other symbiotes, and man, they look really cool. Riot looks big, looks able to do a lot of cool stuff with his symbiote, weapons and stuff like that. We see him fighting Eddie Brock Venom and head to head, ripping the symbiotes off of each other. The effects look straight up dope. The Venom symbiote looks amazing, sounds amazing, feels very comic book-esque. So those are all of the positives, but let's get into the negatives. Now, the biggest negative is actually a sin of omission, not commission. This would be, where is Spider-Man? And just so you know, this is a problem that Sony is actually well aware that they are having. The word on the street is right now that due to a lot of exit polling from the current cut of the film, Sony is hyper aware that the audience does not like the fact that there is no Spider-Man in this movie. It's a major problem, and despite it looking really cool and seeming like a cool horror picture, to do Venom without Spider-Man just feels whack. And honestly, I think that when the marketing for this movie was first starting, because there was so little of it, I think a lot of people were like, oh, no, it's cool. They'll probably be Spider-Man. They'll probably be Spider-Man. And if you even notice what has been going on behind the scenes between Marvel and Sony, and the fact that it says in association with Marvel at the beginning of the trailer, I really believe Marvel is taking a hard line in the sand and trying to disassociate Venom from the MCU. That's a really bad thing for Sony because I feel like they were relying on sort of a loose continuity, a continuity that maybe general audiences would accept. Something very similar to what Marvel is doing between its MCU films and the MCU television shows. There's like a loose continuity there. It's very one-sided, but you can still technically connect the dots. Without that fabric and without Spider-Man in the film, it just feels really weird. It's just like a science fiction-y version of Venom. So despite looking very cool, I feel like a lot of hardcore comic book fans will check out. I also feel like in general, the fact that there's no real hero and the film is this kind of horror film, kind of science fiction vibe, I feel like that's actually going to hurt the movie. I feel like they should have done a better job of establishing Eddie Brock as a clear-cut hero, or at least a clear-cut anti-hero, but the trailer does very little to make that seem like it's gonna happen. The last negative thing, and this is just a Tom Hardy problem, I can't fucking understand this guy. There are lines that the Venom symbiote says, I have no idea what he said. There's the line he says at the end of the trailer, I have no idea what he said. So look, I don't know how they're gonna fix this problem. It goes back to the same ADR problem they had with him when he was doing Bane, but you need to understand what the character is saying. If I can't understand him clearly, it is definitely not going to work for me. Now, the whole marketing and the whole journey we've been on following the production of this Venom movie has been a roller coaster ride of emotions. I've been way high on the film. I've been way low on the film. I have to be completely honest. This most recent trailer puts me pretty low on the film. I'm still going to check it out. I'm still pretty excited for it, but I honestly don't expect the movie to be very good. And I also don't think Marvel is going to be trying to help Sony out at all in this situation. And I have a bad feeling that the movie will not do well critically or in the box office. That might actually be best. Maybe we could get a version of Venom using a lot of this tech and special effects, but in the MCU eventually down the line. But those are just my personal thoughts. So I want to know what you are thinking. Did you love this trailer? Did you hate this trailer? Do you think this movie is going to be amazing? Or do you think it's going to be very B-grade horror movie wannabe Venom thing? Whatever your thoughts, let us know in the comment section below. That's going to do it for today's show. Like, subscribe, follow, do all of those things. It helps us out and you'll be able to get the content more easily. As I always say, I hope you are having an awesome and nerdy day, and I will see you in the next video.